There were only two options in the pit: kill or die. Without a word to me, Dante took his place in the spectator's box, a special enclosed seating area that extended over the edge of the pit. My attention snapped away from my master and back to the tunnel I'd emerged from moments before. A clang alerted me to another cage opening. My cell was one of many, each filled with a beast unfortunate enough to owe Dante a debt. Tonight, a shifter would pay. The bobcat that emerged from the tunnel brought cheers, but I barely heard them. The moment I laid eyes on him, all thoughts turned to the kill. Cats were twistier than wolves, with sharper claws, but I was faster and stronger and had years of experience. I leapt in before he could get his bearings, snapping at his throat, but he was surprisingly quick, and he leapt away. With a loud hiss, he bared his long fangs. Somewhere in the stands, I heard shouts, but I couldn't look away for a second. A second was all it took to lose focus and lose a fight. Benjamin didn't look away either, not even when footsteps pounded on the walkway leading to the spectator's box overhead. Renewing my focus, I leapt, sinking my teeth into the cat's side. He screamed in pain, spitting and raking his claws down my hip as he rolled under me. I sprang free, dropping the chunk of flesh I'd torn from his shoulder. We circled each other as shouts rang out overhead, a different kind of yelling than the rabid fans cheering for us to rip each other to shreds. That was what put food in my bowl, so I focused on that as I darted in for another attack. Before I could make the next move, the cat leapt onto my back and sank his teeth into the scruff of my neck. A spear of panic shot through me. I rolled, crushing him beneath me long enough to shake loose before darting away. Behind me, I heard a man shouting, "Stop, Ariana! You don't have to do this!" A man was foolish enough to jump into the pits? Or had Dante provided the distraction, hoping to amp up the excitement of the fight? I would deal with the man later, but I couldn't afford to lose focus on the bobcat. The man leapt in front of me as I dove for my opponent, but I swerved around him. Swiping at me with one hand, he just missed me as I gathered all my strength and leapt onto the bobcat. With my powerful jaws ready, I caught the cat by the throat, and before he could tear himself free, I braced my silver paws on his shoulders and wrenched with all my strength. I heard his skull hit the floor behind me as his head rolled free. I dropped his body, blood spurting onto the cement. Turning, I focused on the man. He must owe my master a debt. It was my job to collect. He'd already stripped off his shirt, and now he quickly dropped his pants. To my horror, he dropped to all fours and a wolf emerged from his body. 2 fights in one night? 2 fair fights? This was no bonus fight. No helpless human whose life I had to take if I wanted to keep my own. This was a big, strong, healthy wolf, one who outmatched me even when I wasn't leaking blood from a half-dozen scratches and puncture wounds. This wolf had a thick, glossy coat and the rippling muscles of a well-fed animal. Had Dante decided to get rid of me even though I'd won dozens of fights and brought in more money than any other shifter he owned? He had to know this wasn't a fair fight. My claws dug into the cement, and my nostrils flared as the flames of anger burned through my entire body. With a roar of rage at the injustice, I leapt at the wolf.
2. Maximus. The stench of blood wafted through the walls even outside the fighting pits. I wrinkled my nose and resisted the urge to cover my nose and mouth. It had taken me 3 weeks to find the pits and get an invitation. 3 weeks of agony, knowing someone was stealing wolves from my territory and using them for their sick games. A growl rose in my throat and I quickly squashed it. Though I wasn't the only shifter here tonight, I had to keep a low profile. "The last fight starts in 5 minutes, everyone," a voice called.